It's our favorite complete recipe collection filled with mouth-watering homemade dishes featuring breads, breakfasts, appetizers, lunch dinners, and desserts. Get out your measuring cups, mixer, and chopping board. The Home and Backyard Cookbook begins right now. This is Orlando's Restaurant in Muncie, where dining is a time-tested family tradition dating back to the 1960s. Orlando and his family offer mouth-watering old-world recipes made straight from the heart.
Orlando's began in 1962 as a small sub shop in downtown Muncie, and over the last 58 years we have evolved into a full-service Italian restaurant. We pride ourselves on our homemade pasta dishes. My sister Nicole makes all of our ravioli and gnocchi and lasagna. We've added seafood dishes, fresh cut steaks. We have a great chef in Josh. He's really pushed the envelope on some great items as well.
This is Joshua Moten. He's the executive chef here at Orlando's. Joshua, we're so excited to be here.
Me too.
This is going to be so much fun. You're noted for your delicious Italian food, right? And you're going to prepare something for us today. What are we doing?
We're going to make Greco-Roman penne. It's a family recipe, and you've got all sorts of really nice fresh vegetables. We're going to do zucchini and eggplant and mushrooms, San Marzano tomatoes, which are very important, and you'll smell why when they hit the pan.
Okay.
So we'll start getting that warm. We cook with olive oil. We do not cook with extra virgin olive oil. It has a very low smoke point, tends to burn.
Right.
It's more of a finisher. All right, so what we're going to do first, the order of how you put things in the pan is also important. We're going to start with zucchini, mushrooms. We want those to cook down a little bit.
Right.
We just use a white button mushroom. It has a little bit more of a neutral flavor than a portobello or something that's more meaty.
Yeah, right.
So you always want to season a little bit. We use kosher salt.
Coarse salt, yep.
A little fine grind black pepper. And dried basil. And we put this in early. Normally you would put that in at the end so it doesn't burn, but we want, as the vegetables start to sweat, we'll want that flavor to kind of bloom through the dish.
Great.
And we add our eggplant a little later. The eggplant is basically a sponge, soaks up all the flavors. So we want that basil to have already started working a little bit. So now we're going to add the garlic and the shallots. Obviously very important for flavor, but we don't want those to burn. So we put those in a little bit later.
Right.
Yep. So we just want them to sweat a little bit, start releasing some of the oils. All right, next we're going to add our San Marzano tomatoes.
Right.
Very specifically, we buy a San Marzano tomato. You can see the very bright red color.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
You just have a lot of flavor, a lot of pop to it. Very, very fruity. And that basically creates our sauce. It's kind of a very rustic dish.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and you can already start to smell the tomatoes. Good.
It smells so good.
Then we're going to add a little bit of asparagus tips. And again, asparagus cooks very quickly.
Yeah.
So we just need a second on those. And then at the very end, Kalamata olives. Kalamata is also very important. You don't want to use like canned sliced olives. You really want that flavor pop to it.
Okay.
You don't need very many because they are fairly strong. And you don't want to put them in too early. It starts to get a little bitter. They start to burn a little bit.
Oh, all right. It's a delicate balance, isn't it?
Absolutely. So we'll let that kind of come together. So this is basically ready. We've heated up our pasta.
Okay.
And what we do to just, pan starts to look a little dry. You've already got some nice starchy pasta water. And what this does, when you heat up the pasta like this, it makes it a lot easier to get it all over the stove like that. But it also opens up those pores so the pasta starts to soak up all that flavor in the sauce.
Okay.
So we are basically ready to plate.
All right. Chef, this looks fabulous.
Thank you.
What a beautiful dish. We thank you for making it for us today. And Orlando's has such a tradition of great food. Tell us about some of the other things on the menu.
Sure. We do make our own noodles for lasagna. The sauce is obviously homemade. Nicole's ricotta filling that we can put in our raviolis or lasagna. I could just eat that with a spoon. It's magnificent. We make our own gnocchi. Get it with all sorts of different sauces, Alfredo sauce or our marinara.
Excellent. The sauces and the oils have been so popular, right?
Correct.
That they're actually for sale.
We do sell at retail, quart jars on the sauce, and it's a 16-ounce bottle for the salad oil.
It's basically a family recipe. People kept coming in and asking for it, so we decided why not start jarring it up. The gentleman on the label is my grandfather. That would be Orly's father. And he just wanted to pay tribute to him growing up with the sauce.
You don't don't just have to come here for dinner, right? You
Correct.
have all kinds of sandwiches and soups and
Orlando
things.
started out as a sub shop in 1962. We get fresh bread every day from like Home Bakery, South Williamsport.
Wonderful. And of course, if you want a nice glass of wine or a cocktail, you have that as well.
Yeah, we put together a nice wine list. We make signature cocktails. We have Orlando's signature Manhattan, it's bourbon, Cabernet, splash of simple syrup just to sweeten it out, and a couple of dark cherries.
Chef, thank you so much for having us here at Orlando's. It's been great fun. And I know everyone's going to want to stop by, so why don't you give us the information?
Well, we are at 6 to 8 South Main Street here in Muncie. We are online at orlandosmuncie.com, and we're always on Facebook, posting specials, special events. We have a couple of really nice function rooms.
Great.
And you can do whatever you want, birthdays, wedding anniversaries, anything you want.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, and I know everyone's going to stop here at Orlando's and get delicioso food.
Thank you. It was great to have you.
Thanks. Ringside Bar and Grill in Lake Wallenpaupack, you can get delicious wood-fired pizzas, flatbreads, and more. It's a knockout. Well, I'm here with Dita Saunders, and we are going to make pizza, right?
Yes.
And you specialize in wood-fired pizza.
Yes, all of our pizzas and entrees and everything come right out of the ovens up front.
I love it. I love it. So you're going to make something special for us. What are we making today?
We're gonna do a few pizzas, but we're gonna start off with the chicken flight. It's 4 different kinds of pizza on one pie. First, we throw a layer of the oil down, then the dough, and then another layer. And the purpose of using the press is it degasses our dough and makes everything like even. Usually it starts out a little too small, so we stretch it so it's big enough and kind of just go around the outside, feeling where it's thicker.
Gotcha.
And kind of just up and down to stretch it out.
All right.
So for the chicken flight, we use 4 different sauces all together. 2 of them we do on the bottom. Part of it's a roasted garlic.
Ooh, that
So
sounds
it's
delicious.
Our roasted garlic sauce. And then we do part of it as a chicken parm, which is our homemade red sauce.
Nice.
We only put 2 of the sauces on to start. The other 2 go on when the pie is finished cooking. Top it with a little bit of cheese, just enough to make the toppings stay in place while it cooks. Now we add the chicken to each side, and we try to keep a little gap in between so we can cut it properly, and that way everything's a little more proportioned.
Right.
Each one of those sections is different. We do a chicken parm, roasted garlic, buffalo chicken, and a chicken bacon ranch. The buffalo sauce and the ranch go on after it's fully baked.
Oh, okay.
A little bit more cheese.
Ooh, like, I wouldn't complain about that.
And then for our chicken parm, we use 2 different cheeses. We use our regular shredded mozzarella and burrata cheese too. The burrata adds like a little bit of extra flavor to it.
Yeah.
So we don't put a lot, but we do enough to where
Nice.
you would get a little bit with each bite.
All right, Dita, what are we making next?
So next we're gonna do the fig prosciutto flatbread. They're a little bit different than our pies. They're a little bit smaller, but they're still loaded with our different toppings, and we do specialized ones that we wouldn't really be able to put on a regular pie.
Okay.
So for this one, we just stretch it out like the pizza, but we
Yes.
don't do it round. It's
Okay.
kind of oblong.
Yes.
And then we put a little bit of this fig jam on it. And it's really sweet, so we don't put a lot, kind of just like a small thin layer throughout the bottom. And for this one, it's kind of similar to the chicken fillet. We put some ingredients on, bake it, and then once it comes out of the oven, we add the arugula and shredded parm cheese. But before it goes in the oven, we do a little bit of the mozzarella to get the prosciutto to stick. Yeah, kind of roll it up so it's not just flat on the...
On the flatbread.
Yeah.
And this is prosciutto.
Yes, prosciutto ham. You just add a little bit more of the shredded mozzarella, and it's ready to go in the oven.
All right. Well, Well, we're here with Tina Heck, and in addition to flights of pizza, you can get a nice flight of wine, right?
Yes.
And you serve some local wine, right?
We do at a Malatesti winery up in Oliphant. So right here we have our Riesling, our Merlot, and then we do have a Chardonnay that has 0 sulfates in it. So if you tend to overindulge, you won't wake up with a headache.
Yeah, some people just can't take the sulfates.
Yes.
You know, so that's a very nice offer that you have. And which one is this?
This is the Chardonnay.
Okay.
And we also do have a Cabernet Franc that also has 0 sulfates in it. Malatesti does make our own Ringside series for us.
Right.
Yes.
So this is, you can only get this here, which is great.
Right.
So we'll give this one a try. Now, which one was this again?
That is the Cab Franc.
That's good.
Yes.
It's dry, but just a little bit of sweetness. It's very, very good. And no sulfates.
And no sulfates.
Thank you, Tina.
Yes.
Russell, let's talk a little bit more about Ringside Bar and Grill, because there's definitely a theme here, and why don't you talk about it?
Well, the Ringside, the whole idea of the Ringside is very, very special. We try to provide people with very interesting and unique food, which is wood fire, which is very, very healthy for them and a very, very fast-paced environment. So this whole place was built in the memory of Billy Sues. He's actually the guy who did a lot of great things for the area. It used to be here he was training young athletes, and he did a lot of great things beneficial for the area.
And he was a famous boxer,
Yes,
right?
he was. Yes, he won the world championship in 1841. So like,
Wow,
he
that's
did
pretty
create
cool.
a legacy. Yes. So the pizza is very, very special and unique. We use for this pizza 4 different flavors, which all unbleached. That means all of them are very healthy for your body. That dough goes through a long process of fermentation. It's at least 48 hours. So it means it's easy digestible. So you get all the benefits of eating, like all the proteins, all necessary energy. But at the same time, it does not digest long, which means like after you ate it, you feel comfortable of going and doing things and having fun and working and all those things. So it's very important. We use very high temperature ovens. So the pizza is made usually in 3 minutes. So it's very, very fast. And every pizza is unique in a way, because you cook it, it cannot be the same, because every pie has that unique character, unique touch to it. And like there is a difference, like 15-20 seconds difference in between the perfect pizza and like very good pizza, but still you always have to be aware of what you're doing.
I like the fact that you're very focused on food that's good for you and food that feels good and is nourishing. Russell, why don't you tell everybody where you're located if they want to stop by, and your social media?
We're located on 344 Route 507. It's on Lake Wall in Powell Park. So please stop by to taste our pizzas. It is super delicious. It's a thing to try. We have a nice, relaxing atmosphere. So if someone interested and love the pizza, it is a stop for you to put on the map and visit us.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Russell. We really appreciate it. We had a great time here at Ringside Bar and Grill.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Here at Blended Bakery in Lehighton, their cake artisans create baked goods that not only look delightful, but taste oh so delicious. We're so excited to be here at Blended Bakery.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us. So you're going to make us something really fun today. What are we going to start with?
We're going to work on a basic sugar cookie, or shortbread cookie, some people call.
Okay.
And then we're actually going to royal ice in them, kind of get ready for St. Patrick's Day and Easter.
I love it.
Okay, so the first thing I generally do is I'll add our eggs. It's the whole egg, the white and the yolk. And then I try to wait to turn on the mixer so that everything can kind of mix together, because you don't want to overbeat your eggs.
All right.
The next thing I'll add is our sugar, and it's just the granulated sugar, and then I can turn on our mixer. I do it on a low speed. We don't need to really over whip the eggs.
Right.
And then I'll start breaking in our butter. I use salted butter, and then I just omit salt from our recipes.
Okay. I love the name of your bakery. Why do you call it Blended Bakery?
We're actually a blended family. My husband has 2 daughters, and I have 2 daughters, and when we were figuring out our name for the bakery, we decided Blended Bakery was the best name for it.
That's so nice.
We learned as we were getting ready to open the bakery that we were so much more than just a blended family. We were a blended unit, everyone that works here, and, kind of mix
I
it all
like that.
together. I'll check and make sure that everything is mixed in here, and then I'll slowly add our flour just so it doesn't kind of overflow.
Right.
And obviously, once all of this flour is in here, it'll get kind of on the drier side, so I want to make sure we don't have a big mess. These are kind of one of those things that have been the staple of the bakery. We can't make them fast enough. As soon as we make them, bake them, ice in them, they're gone. I just scrape down the sides just to make sure that we have all of the butter and all of the loose dry flour before I add the rest of the flour so that we don't have any dry crumbs inside the cookie. One trick that I found is we don't generally put baking soda or baking powder in here. It provides the opportunity for them to have a nice sharp crisp edge instead of like getting kind of extra puffy. And that's it. Now that the dough is mixed, we will just take like a nice sized ball out of here, and I kind of just work on it a little bit to make sure that there's no loose flour or crumbs. And then I flatten it just a little bit so that it's easier to roll. And then I just start in the middle. We have a pre-cut rolling pin, which is amazing. It keeps the consistency of the cookie. And then I pre-selected some spring because I'm ready to be over winter.
I hear
Even
ya.
though it's been mild, I'm ready.
I know, we're all ready.
So we have some St. Patty's Day, and then our little peep,
Oh,
and then our little carrots.
carrot.
Generally, I don't need to use a tool to pop them out.
Yeah.
You can have little tools that help, but they're usually thick enough. If your dough's on the softer side, you can always refrigerate it for a few minutes. So then we'll bake the cookies at 350 degrees, and they're in there for about 12 minutes. You don't want the cookie to be golden on the edges or golden on the top, because then the cookie will be a little bit harder, especially when they're thick like this. As long as it doesn't have like an opaque color in the center, that means the cookie's baked all the way through. So now it's time to apply the royal icing to the cookies. I think we'll start with a peep. So what we do is we'll start on the outside and we kind of just draw a line around here. So I'll kind of get that edge on there. And we use this great tool. So there's like a needle point on the one side and then the knife on the other side. I won't really need to use that quite yet, but what I'll do is I'll smooth that little edge. And you want to remember that the cookie is actually the palette. So you're covering the palette. And then there's no rhyme or reason here. You just kind of fill the cookie in and give it a nice hearty squeeze, because then we'll work on that tool to kind of cover everything else in. I use this little tool, which I love, and we just kind of give it a little shake this way.
Oh, great.
If you don't have this tool, it's okay. You don't necessarily need the tool.
Right.
It helps you get the air bubbles out of there. See those little air
Yeah.
bubbles? Another thing you can kind of do is hold the cookie and then just tap it onto your hand. It'll also smooth it.
Right.
Out
Oh, look
a
at
little
that.
bit.
Perfect.
So there's different ways to do it. It just depends on what you're most comfortable doing.
Right.
And then I just walk this around the edges just a little bit. They're definitely time consuming, but they're very fun.
These also make really nice gifts. Like if you're going to someone's house and you want to bring a gift.
It's a great gift box, and like you said, it is a great house gift when you're going to a get-together.
Yep.
We put together boxes like the do-it-yourself boxes, so it's kind of nice. They get about 12 cookies in the box, and then we prepackage the royal icing bags with some sprinkles.
Fun.
So they can do it themselves, which is a lot of fun, and that's nice for families that don't have the time or all those cookie cutters to invest.
Right. You just get to
kinda-
decorate, the best part.
Yeah. If you're in a hurry, you can put them in the oven with the light on, the oven turned off, of course. That'll dry them slightly faster. We always let our cookies rest about 24 hours. We would never put them in a box or prepackage them so that they wouldn't, kind of get messed up. Because the icing can crack if you're in a hurry.
Oh, okay.
But you know how Peeps have the sugar on them?
Yes, they do.
So then you can just add this to it. I mean, can a cookie be too sweet?
Never.
So then it has that kind of sugar effect.
Adorable. Christina, thanks for having us today.
Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure.
So why don't you tell everyone about Blended Bakery?
We're full service. We do gourmet cupcakes, classic cupcakes, tons of cookies, vegan options, gluten-free options, wedding cakes, of course, birthday cakes. You can check us out on Blended Bakery Lehighton on Facebook. We have also our Instagram, Blended Bakery. We can also be found, our website is www.blendedbakeryllc.com, or give us a call. You can also come in, stop in and visit us. We're closed Mondays and Tuesdays. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 a.m. until 2 p.m., and then Saturdays and Sundays, 8 a.m. until 12. We are located on 158 South 1st Street in Lehighton. We have 3 tables, coffee, full service, a cappuccino, espresso, all the good stuff.
It's really, really fun. It's really, really cute in here. And
Thank
everyone
you.
is so nice, and they'll be happy to help you with anything you want.
Absolutely, we're here to help and bake.
Yes.
And bake.
Thanks again, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Jenny, what's the sweet treat we're going to put together today?
Okay, we're going to do a banana cream brownie supreme, and today we're going to put it in a bowl instead of just leaving it in the pan. But if you want to do it in the pan, you would just put the pudding and everything right on top of the brownie. So you can have this all made up in advance. You can have your cream in the refrigerator in the bowl, and then when you get ready to go to your picnic or if you're having it for dinner, we're basically doing it while our dinner's cooking so that we can have it ready for when our family's done eating supper. So first what we'll do is you can cut the brownies into some pieces, Noreen, and then we'll scoop them out of there. And we're just going to get the bananas ready while Noreen's working on the brownie.
And does it matter what size they are?
No, because we're just going to take them and we're just going to break them into pieces. I probably use only like about half of that today.
All right.
So all we're doing is taking 3 or 4 bananas, depending on how much you want. If your kids like a lot of bananas and you want to have a healthy treat, we can put a lot of bananas in it. We're just cutting them up with a knife. And we're just going to take some instant pudding. We're going to just pour the package in.
Is that a vanilla, that instant pudding?
But if you wanted to make it chocolate, if your kids like chocolate, you could use vanilla white chocolate. And basically all we're going to use is about 2 cups of milk. We're just going to pour that in. Okay, so basically all we're doing is taking our whisk and we're whisking the pudding. And it'll start to thicken up a little bit. And then what we did was we took some of the Cool Whip out of this container, but we are going to use that in our decorator. I'll show you that in a minute. So we're just going to put the Cool Whip, mix it in with that. And then we're just going to whisk it to make it into a pudding with the Cool Whip in it. All right, so basically that's all we do is we add the milk, we add the pudding and the cream, and then we're just going to pour a little bit in here. Start at the bottom, and we can put the brownie in now. You can take some pieces.
All right, so we're going to layer it? Is that what we're going to do?
Yeah, you're just going to take some of the pieces and break them into pieces.
Oh, you're going to break them. All right.
Now, if you didn't have the brownie already made, or if you didn't want to use the brownie, you could always use the Oreo cookies. So it's an easy treat that the kids could even make for themselves. Like if your daughter had girlfriends over or whatever like that, all you'd have to do is give her the milk, some bananas, the pudding, and the girls could make this themselves. So you just arrange them around. And we're just going to put a little bit more of the cream on top. We're going to put another layer of brownies on. Okay. Then we're going to put some more bananas on to complete it. And we're just going to take the cream that's left, and we're just going to put it over the top. Okay. Look how easy that was. And what we're going to do now is garnish it up a little. We use some fresh strawberries, which I cut with an egg slicer. If everybody doesn't know, an egg slicer will cut strawberries. And we're going to show you a little trick. You could use your strawberry to make a fan out of it. We're just going to leave the stem on it and bring your strawberry up. And then what will happen is when we do it in the center, we'll have a strawberry fan in the center. And then we're going to just put 2 more pieces of strawberry. All right, we're just going to put some Cool Whip on this.
It's like a pastry decorator, isn't it? Oh, the kids will love that.
Picture perfect, isn't it?
That is great.
And now if you want to, you can put that back in the refrigerator or the freezer or whatever until you're ready to go. I would not put the Cool Whip on until you're ready to go, or I would even take ready to serve it, because if you're going to take it somewhere or whatever, I would take the Cool Whip container with the decorator or whatever with me, because by the time you get there it's going to all sink down. But if we want to now, we can just put this in the refrigerator or freezer. We have it ready. As soon as our dinner comes out, then we can have dessert ready when we're ready to go.
Sounds good to me.
We'll see you next time on the Home and Backyard Cookbook.